Hold on, let me turn this off for 1 second here. My trade account. Hold on.
Connection reestablished.
Here we go. Up 263 bucks
Market data connection lost.
from 700 bucks.
Your mic's live. Your mic is live.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. I'm up 263 bucks. Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Here you go. Full screen.
Tonight, guys, I'm gonna answer two tough questions everyone has been asking. Question number one: is it worth renting for the rest of your life or paying property taxes for the rest of your life? What is cheaper? What is better? We're gonna answer that tonight. Question number two: is it worth leaving California to go to Texas? No state income tax, but higher property tax. Do you get more bang for your buck? As you can tell, tonight we are going to go over property taxes. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a huge favor. Please hit the subscribe or notification button so you're notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube at 9 o'clock and Tuesday night on Instagram. Welcome to What's a Mortgage, guys. Also, this is an interactive channel, so ask a lot of questions. If you have mortgage questions, we have mortgage answers. So, the big debate, it is on. Yes, it's going to get hot up in her. If you are in the comments, be nice. That's all I ask. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Everyone has a right to their decisions on what they're going to do. My goal is to present the numbers, and it is your goal to make the best decision for you and your family. But before we get into that, what are property taxes, right? That's the question we should answer first. Property tax is a tax paid on property owned by an individual or legal entity such as a corporation. Property taxes are imposed. Yes, they are imposed. That means you got to pay them by the government to generate money for a public purpose. So there is no way around property taxes. If you are buying a single family home, a condo, a townhouse, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, or a manufactured home, you will have property tax. So let's just digest it really quick. Take it all in, right? Digest it, breathe it in. You will have taxes. So in life, there's some crazy people out there, and some hermits say they can avoid property taxes and avoid rent. But most Americans or most people who live in the United States cannot. So the sooner you accept it, the easier it is going to be. But the goal is, how do we keep those taxes or those costs from going up? Okay? So no, those are what taxes are, and you got to pay them. So where does all this money go, right? If you are going to pay tax, my wife says it all the time. Where is all my money going? Where's all my property tax going? Here's where it's going, okay? Where does your property tax money go? All revenues from your property taxes are allocated to local governments. Property tax revenue remains within the county, so at least it stays in your county in which it is collected and is used exclusively by local governments, schools, county office of education, fire department, county water, recreation and parks, hospitals, and sanitation. So every month when you make that property tax payment, or twice a year when you make that property tax payment, it is going to the community you live in. Can you choose, like, well, I want my money going here and not there? No. They collect it and they distribute it. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, why isn't the school system better if my money's going there? Why are teachers not being paid more? If you're a teacher, I understand. We pay the taxes, and who we elect, they distribute the money, okay? So yes, you have to pay taxes, and yes, it does go somewhere. Where it goes to the community you are living in, okay? So that's what property taxes are. Property taxes are different in different cities. So when you're looking to purchase a home, you want to make sure you check the county and ask them, hey, in this city, so it's not by county, it's by city. Every city is going to be different. Property tax vary widely from city to city, so it's not the county you are buying the house in, it's the city. So remember that when you are trying to do your homework to see if it's worth buying in that city. You can check with your local assessors or municipalities websites or call the tax office for a more exact figure for your home. And I see people do it all the time now. Depending on where you're going to buy, you want to look up the city tax rate. Why is that important? Imagine if you talk to a lender and you tell them, I'm going to buy in Long Beach, California. And then for some reason, you find the home of your dreams in Compton. I know some of you guys are like, Compton. Yes, they have redone Compton, right? So if you decide you want to buy in Compton, Compton has a higher tax rate than Long Beach. What happens if you got qualified for a home in Long Beach and you went to Compton? Now the tax rate is higher, which means you qualify for less home. So as you're out there trying to qualify for home ownership, make sure you know the cities you want to buy in. The reason why you want to call the county, give them the list, or give your real estate agent the list so they can look up the city tax rate. Once you get the city tax rate, you can put all the numbers in and then recalculate, because you might fall in love with the house, but you might not qualify because of the city tax rate. Here's an example. Okay, let's say the nationwide or California tax rate is 1.25. Nationwide is 1.07. Of course, if you are looking in Texas, New York, and New Jersey, they're a little bit higher, and we'll go over that in just a second regarding California versus Texas. So when you're looking to buy, remember, as the price increases, your property tax increase. So we did a tax rate of 1.25. So typically it is the purchase price times the city tax rate divided by 12. If it's annually, you don't have to divide by 12. If you pay twice a year, divided by 2, okay? But if you want to know monthly, what is your monthly tax payment? Take the purchase price, times it by the city tax rate. Here's 1.25 divided by 12. So on 400,000, 416, 850, $885 for taxes. See, that's why it's important that you know these taxes. Let's say you buy a house and the tax rate does go up. You have to know the tax rate so you can calculate your supplemental taxes. If you haven't seen our video on supplemental taxes yet, definitely go to our YouTube channel, and our video on supplemental taxes is on our page. Also, it's important for you to know the tax rate and the property tax. Let's say you inherit a property from parent to child or from grandparent to grandchild, you can inherit your parent or your grandparents' property taxes. So if you know what they bought the home for and you know the tax rate, you know how to budget for your monthly property taxes. Very important for you to know, okay? And here's something else you need to know. When will regular tax assessment happen? So when you buy a house, the property will be reassessed when you make improvements to the property or you are added or someone is taken off title. Of course, when you buy a property, you are added to title. So they will reassess the taxes based on the price you're buying the home at. If you remove someone from title and you add someone else, they will go out and reassess the property to increase your tax bill. So be very careful adding someone new to title. Let's say you bought the home 10 years ago and you add somebody. You better make sure you let them know who you're adding. Of course, if you add your child, different story. You add your cousin, a nephew, or you change it out of an LLC, and on that LLC there's someone else's name on there that wasn't originally on title, they will bring up your property taxes. That's why when you buy a home, you want to add whoever you want to right in the beginning. If it's not a kin or a spouse, why is that? They will bring up your property taxes. It's like you bought the home all over again. I see it happen all the time. It happened to my brother and I. We went out. My brother was added to my parents' house, right? And when that happened, we didn't notify the assessor. It was my brother, which is my dad's son. And because of that, they reassessed the property. They give you 24 months to fix it. Of course, we lollygagged and we waited till the last 6 months. You know what the city and the tax assessor did? They took their sweet time. So time passed and we were not able to get it fixed. So my parents bought the home for $191,000 in 1991. My brother had the property reassessed at $550,000. Crazy, broke our hearts. Nothing we can do, right? My dad almost like kicked my brother and me in the face. We had to go back and now we're paying the taxes, okay? So be very careful. You want to know the tax rate and you want to know when it gets reassessed, what the number is going to change, okay? Also, it happens to a lot of people right now. There's more people pulling money out of their house than they've ever had historically because we have tons of equity. If you do any home improvement that requires permits, they will reassess the property on today's value. That's why so many people are doing kind of, like low-key ADUs. If you do any upgrade that just puts lipstick on a pig, which means it doesn't require permits, they're not gonna do anything. You go out there, you throw a pool on that house, right? Change the roof, no big deal. But you put a pool, you add square footage, right? You do anything, you add another floor, they will come out and reassess it. And think about this. It takes equity to renovate, right? So if you buy a home 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 15 years ago, and all of a sudden you have this equity, and right now a lot of people are not moving because there are not a lot of homes out there for sale. So they're renovating their home and they're making it the conditions a little bit easier, right? Or they're adding square footage so someone else can move in, okay? And when you do that and they give you permits, they're going to come out and reassess the property based on the tax rate and based on your assessed value. So be very careful. So of course, when you sell the house, that's pretty common sense, reassess. To add someone to title that wasn't on the original purchase price or original deed, they're going to increase the property taxes, right? Or assess the property, unless it's a kin or a spouse. If you are an LLC, if you are a company and you bought a property and you didn't change out the LLC right away, they're going to reassess it if there's someone else added on the LLC that wasn't on the original deed. And then, of course, if you do any improvement. So be careful. So that's when they reassess it. Also, when you do buy a home, they do reassess it at least in January. They reassess it in January. So January every year, the property gets reassessed, right? In California, there's a rule where they can't increase it more than 2% a year, which we'll go over in a second. But your property is due in California twice a year, right? Once in November, December, and once again in February, March. It's due for twice a year, and it's on fiscal years, right? So it's from July to June. So let's say this is 2022. So in January 1st, 2022, the property gets assessed. And that's for the fiscal year of July 2022 to June 2023, all right?
The years didn't get updated.
The years didn't get updated? Okay, 21. Okay, I guess we use 2021. So let's say in January 21, your property gets assessed, right? Every year your property gets assessed in California. Other states work differently, but in California, it gets assessed every year at 2%, which we'll go over in a second. And that's for July of that year till June of the following year, okay? Here we go. Property taxes are due November 1st. It is late in December. February 1st, late in April for the second installment payment. All right, so a lot to take in, but you guys should know this. I don't know why loan officers and realtors don't go over property taxes with their clients. They either don't want to explain it because, people don't want to talk about costs because costs might scare people away from buying a home, but it is reality, it is the truth, and you should definitely know about property taxes, okay? So now we know they get assessed January, especially in California. Every state, I think, does do January, but fiscal year and non-fiscal year, we don't know yet. That every state is different. California, for sure, fiscal year, okay? It is paid due twice a year. So when they're collecting your impounds, they're going to pay it twice a year, or you are going to pay it twice a year, right? And it's due November and February. Let's talk about Prop 13 in California. This is what protects Californians after 1976. Values were going up like crazy in 1976. Other states, they might assess the property every year based on the new value. Depends if the state needs money. And you know the way our state works, we always need the money. So to stop the state from hijacking our equity, hijacking our money, Prop 13 came out. So every year, the property is only allowed to be assessed 2% a year. So you bought a home for $400,000, next year, 2%, 2%, and then on, okay? So when they put this on the ballot to X-nay Prop 13, you give them the finger if you're in California. I know they try to do that little sneaky and slide in commercial properties. They started with commercials to see if that was going to fly, and it didn't pass. If that would have passed, you know they're coming after residential next. So if you live in California, when you hear Prop 13, or you'll see them the bat call, oh, right? That's not a bat, that's like my bird call, oh, right? Get off your bum and go vote. Prop 13. Protect Prop 13 if you're in California. If not, they're going to reassess it based on the new value. Okay, so Prop 13 is there to protect you. And now let's talk about how taxes are paid. When you buy a house, impounds, right? So when they collect impounds, they pay your property taxes if your account is impounded. If you're going with a government loan, they are impounds. If you don't go with the government loans, there is a way you don't pay impounds, okay? If you go with a conventional loan, 20% down or more in the United States, your account does not have to be impounded. In California, if you put down 10.01%, you can opt out of impounds, okay? So when you look at your closing costs, you see those tax insurance, it's the impounds they're collecting to pay. And here is the impound schedule, right? There's a scenario, let's say property taxes is $666.67. Where did I get that number? You'll see in a second, okay? If you fund in March, they're going to collect 3 months of impound, which is $2,000.01. If you fund in August, they're going to collect 8 months, $5,333. All right? So this impound schedule, like, man, how do I get a copy of this? Go to whatsumortgage.com, download our ultimate mortgage guide, right? And in our guide, in our what the fee section, we have this tax impound schedule. Okay, hopefully this helps you out on understanding more about property taxes. Of course, if you're in California, this video should help you a lot. Save this video. If you are gonna buy a house or if you own a house, save this video. If you know anyone who owns a house or who's gonna own a house, share this video, tag this video, and this video. And if this video brought you any value, do me a favor. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, okay? Leave a comment below. It helps our algorithm. Before we answer the 2 most important questions people ask, right? Do me a huge favor. Leave a comment, okay? Also, leave a comment because we're about to do Q&A. So after I answer the 2 questions, I'm going to go directly into Q&A. So if you have mortgage questions, I will have mortgage answers for you, all right? So let's look at the war right now. Property taxes versus rent. Okay. So here's an address on 7151 Helena Place, Fontana, California, 92336, right? It was pulled on 301. You can check out that link yourself if you want. Okay. Right now, we pulled it up on rentometer.com. The house rents for $3,000 a month on this house. Okay, if you bought the home 5% down, sorry, no rent. We're still in rent. My bad. So day one, right? $3,000 a month. 3 years from now, with 3% inflation, the house is going to rent for about $3,300 a month. In 30 years, let's say you never bought a home, and rent continue goes up, or you stay in that house, rent continue goes up. You're going to pay about $7,300 a month for rent. Okay. So remember that it is okay to rent, but if you do rent, have some expectation knowing that rent is going to go up every year. And in 30 years, if you never buy a home and you were paying $3,000 a month for rent, get ready to pay $7,300 a month for rent. Okay. Or you got to move somewhere far away where rent is a lot cheaper. But if you plan on living where you live right now, or you plan on living because all your family member lives in this area, understand that rent will go up. So people argue with me all the time. Well, if I buy a house, I'm going to have to pay property taxes forever. Well, if you don't pay property taxes forever, you are going to pay rent forever. So you decide what you want to pay. Let's say we bought this home off of Helena. Okay. We did the mortgage payment, 5% down. Let me pull it up really quick here for you guys to see.
Chrome.
On this home was $640,000. Got it? So you see this home right now, $640,000. Loan amount 608. Right now, today's rate is 4%. Right? APR 4.177 for all the trollers out there who want to sue. right? $32,000 out of pocket, closing costs $12,800. Your total out of pocket is about $45,000. Your principal and interest, property tax, right there, right? 667.67. That's where I got it from. Mortgage insurance, $222. You know, of course, as you have more equity, this thing will fall off. $80 a month for hazard. You're going to pay $38.72. So buying a home is more expensive up front, right? Whoever told you it's not is lying. But you're going to pay that $38.72 first day one. Year three, when your PMI comes off, you're going to pay $36.90. Okay? But 30 years from now, as property taxes go up 2%, right, with Prop 13 protecting you, you're going to pay $12.08. So in 30 years, when you're retired and you can't work anymore, we don't know if you're going to have Social Security or not. But would you rather pay the $72.81 when you're 30 years down the road, when you can't work anymore? You might be balling out of control with some huge 401k and you were able to take your money because you didn't buy a home and you have tons of money. But remember that tons of money you have, you're going to pay $72.81, $7,300 a month for rent instead of the $12.08 because you were able to invest your money somewhere and now you got to use that money to pay all that rent, or you own a home, right? That's why I tell people, if you know where to invest your money and make money, a lot of it, do not buy a home. But if you don't know what to do with your money, like I don't, right? I don't know exactly what to do with my money. I'd rather buy a home and pay property taxes for the rest of my life because it is still cheaper than paying rent, okay? But if, like I said, if you are paying rent and you're saving that money and you're able to do something positive with it, do not buy. But if, like most people, buying might be a better deal, okay? So that is explanation number one. So the battle is, if rent is cheaper than owning a home. If someone says it's not, they live somewhere else outside California, rent is cheaper than owning a home. So if you rent, you better know what you're going to do with your money, because 30 years from now, you got that $72.81, that's $7,300 a month to worry about, right? So all of those people like, don't use your money from your 401k, max out your 401k. Imagine, right? You're in your 70s. And now you have to draw from your 401k. You got to draw out $84,000 a year just to pay the rent. Let's say you have $1 million in your 401k. Every year, that thing, you're going to lose 84 grand to just rent, but you didn't buy a house. You listen to everybody. You didn't max out. You didn't use your 401k. You just kept maxing out your 401k. You didn't use it to buy a house. So just know, I haven't met too many people with $1 million in their 401k. The average person might have 350, 400 grand, if that. How much will 84 grand eat up out of that 400 grand? We don't know. Or if you don't know what to do with your money, buy a house. At least in 30 years, your tax insurance, $1,200 a month. Okay, so that right there is the answer to the first battle. Right? Depends on your situation. If you know what you do with your money or you don't. Now let's talk about the second battle, right? For all the California versus Texas. Let's go to California versus Texas really quick here. Okay, so typically right now, go to the next one. Typically right now, let's say you do live in California, but your things are expensive, it's overpriced. So in California, purchase price $650,000, right? I know they're higher than that. I'm just using as an example. $650,000. 5% down, total out of pocket, right? About $46,000. Total payment is $4,022. Like, forget this. I'm leaving California and I'm gonna go buy a house for if I'm gonna pay 650 grand, I want to get a house in Texas for 650 grand. I'm gonna get more bang for my buck. But remember, property tax in California is about 1.25%. Right? In Texas, here we go. $555,000. So you're going to lose about $100,000 in purchase buying power out in Texas. Still might be worth it because other things are cheaper. There's no state income tax. By the way, if you make $100 grand a year, state income tax is only $4,000. So if you leave California. And will you find a job that makes $100 grand? If you do, or you still make California money but live in Texas, that's good for you. But you're going to get a house for $555,000. Is it going to be bigger than the house for $650,000? Most likely. But the comparables is almost identical, right? at 555. 555, 4.25, 5% down. Because the tax rate is 2.5 right here, your payment, $38,000 down payment out of pocket, about $4,012, right? $4,012. So if you decide to leave California to go to Texas, just know because of the property tax rate, you're going to go down in purchase price. You're not going to get the same buying power because of property taxes. Yes, you'll save money on state income tax. How much you're going to save depends on how much you make, okay? If you can still make that type of money in Texas. I'm not saying that California is better. I'm sure that $555,000 in Texas gets you more bang for your buck, but can you, if you leave from California to Texas, will you still make the money to buy a $550,000 house compared to $650 in California, right? It's all depends on your situation. Of course, if you make the money and you can move to Texas, good for you. But if you can't, or if you're like, hey, I'm going to get more bang for my buck, run the numbers first. Check out the property tax. That's why it's important to always know the property tax. So you know to buy or rent, or you know to move or not move. Run the numbers so you can run your life. Hopefully that helps you guys out. That's everything you need to know about property taxes. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, do me a huge favor. Save this video, share this video, and like this video. All right, guys. Also, leave some comments below if you have some Q&A. If you're not following us by now, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, please. Hit it so every week when we post a new video or we go live, you get notified. Remember, Monday, 9 p.m., Facebook, YouTube, Tuesday, Instagram. Okay, and we post content daily on Instagram and TikTok if you haven't checked those out yet. All right, we run the numbers all the time. Our goal is to run the numbers so you can run your life. All right, guys. Also, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Those are our links to our channel right there. All right, guys. Let's go some Q&A here. Was this helpful? Was it useful? Let me know, okay? Some Q&A. Reach out, guys. Also, if you do need help, you want to run the numbers, see if it's worth it, give us a call, 714-790-9697, or you can email us info@whatsamortgage or text us, okay? Let's go some Q&A here really quick. Talk a lot slower today, Andy?
Huh?
Did I talk a lot slower today?
Yeah.
Was the enunciation was a lot better?
I noticed like immediately like, oh, you're really like slowing down.
I had to bite my tongue like twice. What up, Manny? How you doing? Elsie, what's going on? Thank you so much. Jared, got my new built in October 2021 and my taxes rate was 1.6. They said that next year it would be lower and I will pay less. Is that true? I've never heard of property taxes going down. I just hear about them going up. When you buy new construction, also, there's something called supplemental taxes. When the builder bought the land to build the property, they paid a specific tax rate. Of course, when you bought the home, it's at the new purchase price, which brings up your supplemental taxes. So if you bought your home in, when did you close? October, you should get one supplemental tax bill, okay? But I don't know if it's going to go down or not. How about the new construction? How does it work for property taxes? It's going to be based on the purchase price, and then you have your property tax rate, and you have Mello-Roos. Mello-Roos is like a bond. So when they need to, in your community, when they need to raise money to pay for things, right? They get the money to pay back through your Mello-Roos. So typically when you buy a home, there's property tax rate, and then there's Mello-Roos. After a season, maybe 20, 30 years, depending on when you enter into the community. Let's say you've entered in, there's 10 years left. There's only 10 years worth of Mello-Roos. But if you just got in because it's a brand new construction, you can have 20 to 30 years of Mello-Roos, okay? Hopefully that helps you out. My cousin bought a house a couple years ago. He wants to add his girlfriend on title. Will that raise his property taxes? Don Wynn, absolutely. That unless it's his spouse, it will raise the property taxes. I have good enough equity. Good for you. Be a Durham. I was told my lender would pay it for me. I don't understand why. When they say they pay your taxes, they pay your impounds, not your supplemental. Okay, when you buy a home, no lender collect for supplementals. You will get a supplemental tax bill. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. See here, ultimate mortgage guy. Be a Durham. I have good enough equity. I need 100K. What's the best? Be a Durham, if you need 100K, I would look at a home equity line of credit first. Remember, when you guys get a home equity line of credit, they sound great, but home equity line credits are very conservative when it comes to appraisal, income, and DTI and credit qualifications. Okay, I would look into a home equity line of credit. If you can get one, then look into a cash out. Hopefully that helps you out. Thanks, Manuel. Mike, off topics question: which academy or courses to become a MLO do you recommend for newbies? I don't know. I haven't done my education since, oh my gosh, 2010 or 11 or something, or 9 or 10. I haven't done it in a while, but I do Ally when I try to do my continuing education, ALLIED. What up, Art? Reminder, renters that if they vote against Prop 13, their rent will go up. Okay, thanks, Art. Yes, that is correct. How about 5-year property tax versus rent? 5-year property tax versus rent. It all depends, Mr. Lee. Honestly, if you're going to live in a home for just 5 years, I would rather rent. If you're going to live in a home for 5 years and then move again, I would just rent. Okay. You are going to save more money, but will you lose chance on equity? Yes. If it was me, if you feel more comfortable renting, rent. If you have the money, park your home in a property, you will pay a higher mortgage payment. But don't forget, every year, your home will increase about 4 to 5%. Okay, that's like a historical average. Yes, there are dips, but if the dip just sit and wait it out, when it comes back up, it's about 4 to 5%. Let's say on a $500,000 home, okay, you gain 5%. That's 25 grand. What you pay in rent and what you save, is it greater than just paying the mortgage payment to gain 5% in equity? Okay. You got to run the numbers, Mr. Lee. It all depends on your situation. Okay. Arceli, so if a kin is added to title, property won't get reassessed. It has to be literally a son or a daughter. Can't add no cousin or nephew. They will reassess it. It's got to be like kin. Okay. Mikhail, house title deed is under parents and it has about 250 grand left. Parents can't afford anymore, but daughter is willing to take over. What is the best course of action to move it over to the daughter? Don't the parents have to sell it to the daughter? No, do not sell it. Okay. What the daughter can do is refinance. If the daughter is going to live in it owner occupied, refinance the property in the daughter's name and then put the daughter on title. It won't increase the property tax. The daughter will inherit the original property tax rate. Tax assessment plus a 2% a year, and it's easier that way. And the refinancing is cheaper than buying it. Okay, because when you do it as a purchase, title and escrow is a lot more expensive. I think he said it will. I missed it. Useful. What would property tax on 850? Jess, it all depends. Which we posted already, Jess. It all depends on your tax rate. If it's 1 1/4, let me see if I have it up here. See if I have it up here at 1 850. I got 850. Yeah, 850 is gonna be. Don't put it up, Andy. $885 a month at 1 1/4. Okay. You're welcome. Do interest rates typically dip end of the week? Gretchen, I don't know. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. Rates don't dip because it's the end of the week. It's all dependent on what the market's doing. Okay, I missed the whole thing. You can watch it again, Alberto. I bought a new build in Northern California. And my tax rate is 1.7 because of builder bond. Yes, I can see that. What's going on, Lynn? Thank you, Jared. Gretchen, but the community is nice and the property value has gone way up. Good for you, Gretchen. What is impounds? That means when you make your mortgage payment, they collect the tax insurance to pay your property tax and your house insurance. That's what impounds are. I have a building and I'm renting it to my corporation that I own. It's also a triple net lease, so not sure if the taxes and insurance would be considered debt or not, since corporate is technically so. So when you, for investments, right? It part of your deductions. Even though you pay it, you get to deduct it because it is a cost. But you can't deduct the interest though on that property. I think you can deduct interest, but you can deduct taxes and insurance. Go check with a tax person just to make sure. Technically paying. What is a stimulate mortgage? That, Ali, I would talk to a tax person. What is a stimulant mortgage for 600? What is a estimate mortgage for $600,000? 10% down. It all depends on, we also need a couple things. Sadek, if you want to know your situation, please DM us. I would need to know the middle credit score as well, and the state and the city, so we can calculate your property tax rate, okay? If I refinance and cash out, will my taxes go up? No, it will not unless you do upgrades that require permits. My grandmother passed away and the property title is still under her name. If I take her name off, will taxes go up? If you take her name off and you don't put your name on, if you got the property from your grandparent, taxes won't go up. But it depends. But you better be the granddaughter. Okay. Michelle, how's it going? For all your thank you, Michini. You're welcome, Rose. That's really sweet of you. If you have not received your supplemental tax bill, do you look for it, and where? Where do you look for it? Gretchen, if you have not got your supplemental tax bill, contact your county tax assessor, okay? I think they'll give you to another department that does collect. The county tax assessor doesn't collect it, but they have a department that they'll send you to that does collect it. Do you guys do HELOCs, and what is your current rate? We do not do HELOCs. If you want to do a HELOC, I recommend you go to PenFed. They go up to 90% loan to value, or you can go to US Bank that goes up to 85. If you need the money right away, US Bank does them quicker than PenFed right now. All right? Hopefully all this information helps you out. Hopefully it gives you the education you need to make the best decision for you and your family. If you have a question that I did not answer, or you have a question that you feel very uncertain about, give us a call, 714-790-9697. And definitely, you can always DM us, or you can email us, info@whatsamortgage.com. Ask questions, guys. Too much softball practice for my daughter team in Eastvale. Thanks, Alberto. Is reverse mortgage advisable for a retired person? Ellen, okay, I'm gonna answer Ellen's question, and I'm Gucci for the rest of the, we're good for the rest of the night, okay? So I do like reverse mortgage. I had a lot of people troll me hard saying that, oh my God, you're doing this bad thing. For people, they're gonna owe more than the house is worth. Imagine if you're at an age where you need money, a reverse mortgage is great for you, right? If you need money, or if you don't want to pay your property tax or your insurance anymore, get a reverse mortgage. It's something called a LISA, life expectancy set aside. Yes, your balance will go up because you're borrowing the money to pay it. If right now costs are up, see, a lot of people who are clowning me now are quiet, right? Reverse mortgages are up right now because Social Security is not enough. Cost of living is higher. These reverse mortgages are helping people of age enjoy their life before their pass. If you are a child of a parent with a home that can't make their mortgage pay or has a poor quality of life, let them get the reverse mortgage. Yes, you eat up your inheritance, but man or woman, right? Help them out. If you can help them out, don't stop them from getting a reverse mortgage to give them a high quality of life. They broke their back to earn this money, and they're in a position where the money they have is not enough. If your money is not enough, get that reverse mortgage. Okay? Make sure you go with a mortgage broker that does a low margin so it doesn't eat up that much equity. That's the trick. Right? Don't go to someone who's going to gouge you on the margin. The higher the margin, the more equity it eats up. If you have questions about reverse, give us a call, 714-790-9697. I don't do reverse mortgages, but I know a handful of people that do them that have low margins where it doesn't eat up all your equity. All right, guys? We want to end all our episodes with our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there would be no us. So thank you guys so much and enjoy the